What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and a video about dangerous neighborhoods in some of the worst cities of the United States. Even the worst cities any state has to offer has some nice neighborhoods, and some have some incredibly bad neighborhoods. West Los Angeles and East Los Angeles are a perfect example. West LA is mostly filled with million-dollar homes with nice lawns, while East LA is a place with police tape on the lawns, and most people wouldn't live there if you offered them $1 million. A quick heads up on this video. Locals sometimes call these neighborhoods different things. I use the actual name that the state has down, so if people not from the area want to look it up, they know what they're looking for. They also like to argue that these places aren't as bad as other places and other places are much worse. Everyone has an opinion on things like that. That's why we use the stats given by the FBI. Alright, let's take a look at the most dangerous neighborhoods in some of the worst cities. Number 10, Camden, New Jersey. Our old friend Camden. Camden is not a great place to live. Yeah, don't move there. But especially don't move to Ferry Avenue and South 8th Street. That's a neighborhood there that's not doing good things. You have about 4 neighborhoods in Camden that are equally as dangerous as the next. They all have very similar stats. It's like there's only so much suckage you can achieve in a place and not be allowed to go above that. But Ferry Avenue and 8th Street have it a little bit worse. On the map, it's called Centerville, so if you're looking for it, just look for Centerville. That's the area. Their crime rate is 89% higher than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 519% higher than the national average. Good God. The poverty rate in Camden, New Jersey is 154% higher than the national average. Don't live here. Number 9, Washington, D.C. The most violent and dangerous place you could move to in Washington, D.C. is Deanwood. Deanwood is in the eastern portion of D.C., right on the Maryland border. Honestly, it doesn't look terrible. A lot of their violence comes from domestic abuse calls, so it's not your stereotypical street violence going on here. Now, don't get me wrong, they have plenty of that. It's just one of the things that's driving their violent crime stat is the domestic abuse thing. Their crime rate is 259% higher than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 637% higher than the national average. Their poverty level isn't terrible. It's only 5% higher than the national average, but typical of an area with a boatload of domestic calls, the neighborhood's unemployment rate is 144% higher than the national average. That one's weird. You'd think with that high of an unemployment rate, they'd have a lot more poverty, but I guess the people that are working have really good jobs or something. Number 8, Memphis, Tennessee. The most dangerous place to live in Memphis, Tennessee is downtown Memphis. Normally in cities with all kinds of problems, it's not the downtown area that's terrible. There's a few that are like that, but most cities will keep the downtown area as, nice as they can. Memphis has their own agenda. Now, they do have some other areas that are more run down, I would say. Downtown Memphis doesn't look horrible. It's just got a lot of crime. The crime rate in downtown Memphis is 663% higher than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 709% higher than the national average. The poverty rate in downtown Memphis is 83% higher than the national average. Number 7, Chicago, Illinois. The most dangerous place to live currently in Chicago is West Garfield. Statistically, Chicago isn't the worst city. Different media outlets portray the place as a frickin' war zone. It's not. They have some neighborhoods like West Garfield that are crazy dangerous, but most of Chicago is really nice. They've led the country in murders a few times in the last handful of years, but with a population of 2.6 million in the city and just under 10 million in the metro area, their per capita is low, and normally they end up ranking somewhere around the 25th most dangerous city in the nation, or so for murder rates. West Garfield, I guess, is trying to move Chicago into the top 10. They're tired of being 25th. They want to put out the effort and get them towards number 1. West Garfield, Chicago's crime rate is 396% higher than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 778% higher than the national average. The poverty rate in West Garfield, Chicago is 44% higher than the national average. Number 6, Little Rock, Arkansas. The most dangerous place to live in Little Rock, Arkansas is South End. Pine Bluff, which is another city in Arkansas, should be on this list, but really they don't have any bad neighborhoods. The whole place sucks, so it's hard to pick out one neighborhood, and they're a little bit small for this list. So in case you want to leave that comment, we're sticking with Little Rock. Little Rock has been dangerous since forever, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. South End is a horrible place to live or visit. Their crime rate is 248% higher than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 788% higher than the national average. The poverty level in South End is 18% higher than the national average. Number 5, San Bernardino, California. Now, I have a hard time saying that because growing up, we called it San Bernardino. Just really quick rolls off your tongue, but it's actually Bernardino. Okay, anyway, moving on. The worst place to live in San Bernardino is Feldheim. San Bernardino is in the Southern California outback, and it's where Los Angeles sends all its smog. The city has a few okay neighborhoods, but a bunch that really suck. The king of the hill when it comes to suckage is Feldheim. This is a popular place to acquire hourly companionship and street pharmaceuticals. It's also a good place to be assaulted, and it shows. Their stats are horrible. The overall crime here is 234% higher than the national average. Violent crime is 811% above the national average. Now, oddly enough, their poverty level is like even with the national average, but the unemployment rate is 95% higher than the national average in Feldheim. Number 4, Baltimore, Maryland. The most dangerous place to live in Baltimore, Maryland is Hopkins Middle East. This isn't a great neighborhood. Matter of fact, if you look at it, it looks like a street scene movie set for a film about a city overrun by gangs, poverty, and residents that can't do minor home repairs. Almost like every house here is run down. I saw one guy on a YouTube channel trying to argue that this part of Baltimore really isn't that bad. The dude had a better chance of convincing people water is kind of dry. The overall crime in Hopkins Middle East is 340% above the national average, and their violent crime rate is 848% higher than the national average. The residents here enjoy a poverty level that is only 5% higher than the national average, but their unemployment rate is 85% higher than the national average. You have no reason to go here unless you're a brave and desperate sales rep from Home Depot and you're looking to make some sales. Number 3, St. Louis, Missouri. The most dangerous place to live in St. Louis is Peabody Darst Webb. This is not a great neighborhood, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. The stats on this place are incredibly bad. This neighborhood has some housing authority projects in here called Peabody, and whenever that happens, the neighborhood's not going to be good. But these ones don't look that bad. I mean, I've seen way worse projects than these ones. They really don't look that bad. But the crime rate is through the roof here. Let me give you the stats. The overall crime rate in Peabody Darst Webb is 420% higher than the national average. Their violent crime rate is 1,129% above the national average. Congratulations, St. Louis, you really got it together here. This one is kind of bizarre because I couldn't really find how high the poverty level here was. I couldn't find it actually. Nobody did a survey on it or something. There's no stats that I could find, but their unemployment rate is 129% higher than the national average. Number 2, Kansas City, Missouri. Look at that. Missouri shows up twice in the top 5. Go big or go home, I guess. The most dangerous place to live in Kansas City, Missouri is a small little square called Marlboro Heights, Marlboro Pride, Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah, this place is not good. I did see a news report where they were trying to say that the crime trends are going downward and the place is turning it around, and I don't know, then 2020 happened and everything went to hell. Because it's not really getting that much better. What's strange about this one is right across the Kansas border, like a 15-minute drive away, is one of the best suburbs in the United States, Overland Park. It's really not that far away. You'd think some of those positive stats would rub off on them, or the negative stats would rub off on Overland Park. No, it's like two different worlds on this one. Listen to these stats. The overall crime rate here is 498% above the national average, and the violent crime rate is 1,330% above the national average. That's not great. Poverty in this part of Kansas City, Missouri is 25% higher than the national average. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we got another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. And also, while you're at it, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give the video a big thumbs up. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Detroit, Michigan. The most dangerous neighborhood in Detroit is Von Steuben. This little gem of real estate is northeast of downtown Detroit, and about a third of the homes here are now vacant lots. As people fled out of Detroit over the decades, they just abandoned their homes. Property values had dropped so much, it wasn't even worth trying to sell the place. It's not like people were buying up in these neighborhoods anyway. So it's like, what's the point? Just leave it. And they did. Nothing good goes on in an abandoned house, so the city decided to bulldoze tons of them. This solved a lot of problems Detroit was having, and that was people setting fire to abandoned homes. Yeah, that was a big thing for quite a while. But the crime has not gone away in Von Steuben. The crime rate is 463% above the national average, and their violent crime rate is 1,349% above the national average. This place is not a good place to live. Now, I say that from a statistic point of view. If you look at it, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, if you drive down the street, it looks like decent house, abandoned lot, boarded up windows. Then you have a couple more decent houses, abandoned, boarded up windows, that type thing. So it's not all just totally bad in a war zone. They just got a lot of crime going on here. Their unemployment is a staggering 236% higher than the national average. That is brutal. I honestly think that's the highest number I've seen on unemployment rate. Oddly enough, their poverty level is only 5% higher than the national average. There's not many people living here. I did read a police blog thing about this neighborhood while I was researching this, and there was a homeless man, I guess, that someone had zip tied to a telephone pole or something 3 nights in a row. Same homeless man, same thing. They kept zip tying him to it, and then someone would call the police. Police would come cut him off the telephone pole. Fun times in Von Steuben. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Thanks for watching my videos. Have a great day. Be nice to each other.